Hey YouTuber do-it-yourselfers. Okay, so today we're going to go over a situation where we have a no start. So let's get started. This is going to be on how to diagnose it and get it running. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to verify this. But will not start. So I always like to start with my guys. You know, I assume that they didn't make any mistakes, but let's make sure that it's on run. And it's on run. That says on. On a Honda, if you look right here, this is an oil alert system. And it has a switch in there that does two things. That'll kill the engine if it runs low on oil. And that will also make that little beeper right there beep. So let's check the oil. This is where we start on a Honda, is checking the oil. And if you look, that thing is bone dry. So we're going to have to add some oil. Okay, so now that we've verified that the oil level is good, what we're going to do is we're going to spark test it. That's where I always start with. If you don't have spark, it's not going to start. This is a spark tester. This can be bought at any auto parts store. So you're going to observe this and see if it actually lights off. So we got the ignition switch on. And it's got spark. So after we verified spark, we want to verify the fuel is on. So this is off. This is on. And then we verify there's fuel in the tank, which you can't really see it. Oh, yes, you can. But there is fuel in the tank. So after that, now what we're going to do is we're going to verify the carb. So when I verify carb, I always grab my mason jar out here. And on Hondas, they always have a nice drain bolt normally that you can undo. So when I undo one of these, it's a 10 millimeter. Others are other sizes. But I always like to look at the fuel as I'm bringing it out, just to kind of see what it looks like and where I'm going with it. So I will always religiously pull that drain bolt and just take a look and verify how quickly it comes out and what it looks like. Because a lot of times when they sit over the winter, or they sit for long periods of time and they don't get started, like this one probably did. We don't have every job at our shop on a we don't have a compactor job every time we send something out to work. Send someone out to work, I should say. So that should be about enough right there. And that tells me that drip right there, it's actually dripping pretty good. So that means that it's good to go. But when we look at this fuel here, this fuel is what looks like it might be water suspended in it. And if that's the case, so we'll let this settle for a minute. And we'll let that fill back up now that we've let it drain out a little bit. And we got our choke on. The next thing after we verify that is we're going to pull the plug on this thing. Okay, so we got our spark plug wrench, and we're going to pull the plug on this bad boy and take a look at it and see where we are. And if you look at this spark plug, that's probably why it's not starting. If I can get a good focus of that, there we go. So that's probably why it won't start. So we're going to replace the plug. And when they look like that, you always want to check your air filter. So we're going to focus up here. We're going to look at our air filter closely. And you can see the inside of this thing. It looks fairly new. And you can see the paper or the rubber part of this looks, or the foam insulator part of this looks okay, as well as the inside of the air filter here. So it doesn't have a bunch of trash on it. So more than likely, this is a compactor unit. These shake really bad when they're running. That's the point in compacting. So chances are good that the reason it's oil fouled is just because of the nature of the way that it runs and what it does to the motor as it's running. It's just all natural. So we're going to change out a spark plug, and this one is obviously, this normally would take a 5ES. This one right here is a 4ES. So we're going to put a heat range hotter in there, and we're going to see where it goes from there. Okay, so with our plug all properly gapped, we've got another BPR 4ES, and this one's brand new. We're going to throw this bad boy back in there, like so. And we're going to put our cover back on the air filter. We're going to reconnect our plug wire. I don't know what this zip tie is, but whatever. I'm not the expert on this one. I do know that the owner of this is occasionally known to lend stuff out, so I'm guessing that that's somebody that, other than me, may have worked on this thing to get it running, or the guy he lent it to works for the shipyard and has a large income that is kind of disposable. So we're going to move everything out of the way. We topped it off with oil, 30 weight. This is just an oil container. So now we're going to retry this thing and see if it starts. And while we're trying to do this, we're going to remove the belt so this thing doesn't go into compact mode. Because obviously the clutch on this one is stuck. So this might make it easier to verify. And there you have it. It runs. And while we're at it, if you look here, this is the centrifugal clutch portion of this. You see this spring? It's got a memory. And then on the other side here, it's totally missing. So no matter what, this thing is going to want to go, this thing is going to want to go into compact mode the minute you start it, no matter what you do. So we're going to need to figure out where they sell these springs. It even looks like that it might even have a bearing that's seized up on the end there. But anyways, we're going to have to get a model number off of this and figure out where to get a clutch for it. Anyways, thanks for watching. And we'll talk to you soon.